Good morning, everyone. Okay, so quickly before I forget, I'm doing a free workshop on Tuesday. You can go sign up for it. Nice and simple. I'm doing it twice on Tuesday, so you can pick the time that is right for you. The link is gobigcoach.com/workshop. I also put it here in the description. All right, so there is a habit that I think people, it's interesting. It's how we've been taught to do things, and we were taught to do it so early that it became a habit before we really had the ability to choose it, right? So changing it feels almost impossible because it feels like our makeup. It feels like who we are, which this habit is just looking at the things that are wrong, like picking out the things that are wrong with us, that went wrong, that we didn't do right, all of that stuff. Okay, so what we've determined, obviously, I am here talking to you about becoming a focus master because everything, whatever you focus on determines the experience you have in life. What you focus on consistently over time determines the experience you have in life as well as the results you get. So if you're wanting to change something, if you want to change how you feel, if you want to change the results you're getting, if you want to change both, you have to start with your focus. Now, this becomes an interesting thing when what we have been trained to do since the beginning of time, since before we even remember being trained to do it, is to look at what went wrong, to look at what we did wrong, to look at what's wrong with us, to look at where we need to, fix something. When you are focusing on those things, you're gonna be miserable, right? Now here's the challenge. This was my challenge, is it seemed like, and this is the challenge, this is why this keeps getting taught, this is why this keeps getting passed on, is it seems like it works, right? I can look back at certain periods of my life and I'm like, oh yeah, I was like pushing myself and I was mad at myself every day, but I was like getting these big results and all of that. And then I look at it and I'm like, A, I was miserable, and B, if I really think about it, how much faster, how much easier could it have been had I not been focused on what was wrong? Now, by the way, this is not me proposing some sort of head in the sand if things aren't going the way that, is ideal, that you just ignore them. That is not it at all. It's just when you come at something from the what's wrong, what needs to be fixed approach, it creates the wrong environment for natural, expansive, continuing growth. Instead, everything will become a struggle. So it's the difference between, I talk about this all the time, like I had that new program that I just released, which is going great. It's closed now for new members, but it's going great, which is awesome. 5-minute focus boost. And it's the difference between negative reinforcement training with animals, like with dogs specifically, and positive reinforcement training with animals. So negative reinforcement training is what most people do, and it seems like it works. The challenge is, in my personal opinion, what it does is it cuts down the dog's confidence and trains them to do things out of fear, and so what happens is you might get the behavior you're looking for. It's going to be more of a struggle because you're going against the dog's natural tendencies, and you're not necessarily guaranteed that the dog is going to choose to do those things when you're not around, right? You then have to be there. Positive reinforcement training, however, creates a positive experience for the dog, creates a positive connection between doing this thing and getting a result that it likes. And so therefore, what you get is built up confidence and the increased chance that the dog is going to choose to do that thing even when you're not around. So if you apply that to yourself, you see why it's so important that we stop negative reinforcement training ourselves by looking at everything that's wrong and everything that needs to be fixed and what did we screw up and all, right? So here's the thing. This is what I work with my inner circle members on all the time, my VIP members all the time. This concept makes sense to a lot of people, right? It's like, yeah, that makes sense, Kristen. When I first started doing it, it made sense to me, but making sense here did not necessarily make it easy because it's a habit. But that's all it is, guys. It's just a habit. Okay, so you can rewire yourself. You can get a new habit. Just like negative reinforcement training, looking for what's wrong, looking for what isn't working, you were too young to know it. You were too young to remember, but that was not your initial habit when you were born. No one is born with that as the instinct. You learned it. It became a habit through repetition. It's just that you were so young that you didn't even know it was just happening, and then it just became part of you. Well, you can do the same thing. The difference is you were really young. That was sort of an unconscious situation, and you were being taught to do it from, the outside world, from different people in your life, different authority figures. People weren't trying. They're just doing what they know, right? The difference is now, if you choose to go, okay, yeah, what Kristen's saying is making sense, and I want to start to adopt more positive reinforcement training, which again, remember, that does not mean that I am saying bury your head in the sand. There are things, of course, where we can make them work even better. Make something work even better. How can I have this work even better for me? How can I have this work in a way that's really effective? Is a solution-based question versus what I can't believe I screwed that up, and what's wrong with this situation? Because then all you're doing, remember, focus is everything. All you're doing is focusing on what's wrong. So you're just going to keep getting more of that. You need to start to focus on the solution in order to change it. Anyway, so the difference is, like I said, it's a habit to look at what's wrong. That's okay. It's not your fault. It's no one's fault. Don't waste time blaming. The difference is that habit was formed at such a young age for you that you weren't aware of it. You weren't consciously aware of it. You weren't necessarily deciding to participate in it. It just became a thing. And so much of the world operates like that it was reinforced daily. So the challenge is, if you want to do this in your life where you start to use positive reinforcement training and you start to shift from looking at everything that's wrong to looking at what's working so you can make more of it and how you can make things work even better and all of that stuff. And you want to start basically getting results, more results, because what happens is the negative reinforcement training eventually is the thing that gets us stalled out in overwhelm, procrastination, self-doubt, limiting beliefs, all of that. Eventually it rears its ugly head and gets us stuck. By the way, if you're overwhelmed, if you're dealing with any of that stuff, jump on that free workshop with me next week. On Tuesday, the link is gobigcoach.com/workshop. I'm doing it twice so you can pick the time that's right for you. Definitely join me on that. And I'll be on live so I can answer your questions at the end. I'll go through all the content and then I can answer questions at the end about anything that would help you. So the difference is, if you are choosing, if you're like, yeah, I need to do, then it's going to be a conscious decision on your part. It can be surprisingly fast, but it does not mean that you're just going to choose it and be like, yeah, that's how I'm going to do things now, and then it's going to happen. It's a choice that then you need to consciously back up. Remember how the habit was formed in the first place was by repetition, was by you not having resistance to it because you didn't know otherwise, and there was a lot of reinforcement around you. So the reinforcement around you, a lot of the world is doing things in the negative reinforcement way. Well, that's okay. You can use that as opposed to something that's chopping you down, where you're like, oh yeah, I have to join in that way of doing things. You can use that more as an example. You can use that more as when you see it, you go, oh, okay, that's interesting. What would the positive reinforcement version of that be? Because look, you're trying for the same outcome typically, right? So that can just become a learning tool, and the conscious doing of this, yeah, okay, is the thing that, hold on, people coming, is the thing that is going to take the commitment. I'm going to say that again. Once these people pass, they're walking very slowly. Yes, so the conscious commitment of it is the thing that is going to take the commitment from you. That's all. And the commitment to, when you catch yourself doing the negative reinforcement thing, because guess what, guys? You're going to do it. And guess what? We all do it. There's no getting perfect at this. I teach this stuff. I'm really good at this stuff. I still do it, right? It's not about being perfect. It's about having the tools and the commitment and the decision that when you catch yourself doing it, you're not going to judge yourself. You're just going to go, okay, what's one of my tools that can help me get back on track? What is one of my focus tools? That's why that's everything I do with my VIP members, my Inner Circle members, my 5-minute Focus Boost members. Any program I have is designed, anything I'm doing with anybody is designed to help you get your focus working for you. Because our focus is most often working against us purely because it's habit, okay? So it's the commitment and the willingness to go, okay, yeah, I'm probably going to look at negative stuff a whole bunch of times today. And that's okay. Whenever I catch it happening, I am going to then choose to redirect my focus. Notice it's not correct your focus, because that would be coming from the mindset of how do I fix this, but redirect your focus. And so it could serve you, and this is the tip that makes this easier, is in the morning, it could serve you, it will serve you if you go, okay, well, when things come up that tempt me to give it negative focus, what am I going to choose for my focus instead? What is a more powerful choice for me? What is the powerful choice I want to have today and choose today? And if you choose that ahead of time, before the world has started, before you're being inundated with stuff, all of that, you've pre-decided, right? Like you have your game plan. So you're not counting on yourself to come up with it in the spur of the moment, in the spur of the moment. You have it. You've already decided it. It makes it so much easier to choose it consistently. And you can do that every morning. Just, okay, what is my high impact focus today? And when things come up that then I shift my focus to them in a negative way, what is that high impact focus? How am I going to use that in a positive way to have a more powerful focus when those moments happen? That's all. Nice and simple. And what will happen is, just remember, when you were a kid and you learned negative reinforcement training, it wasn't natural to you, but you learned it because it was consistent and it was just sort of like you didn't have resistance to it then. So try not having resistance to it now. Try not having resistance to the fact that it's not natural for you yet. So when you do the opposite, you just go, oh, okay. So what is a more positive, more empowering? And by positive, I don't mean it's a beautiful day if you feel terrible. That's not what I'm talking about. What is something that I feel good about, that I can take action on right now, that I can direct my focus to right now, that I can pay attention to right now? It's going to instantly change how you're feeling. It's that consistent shifting without the resistance. Notice I didn't go, oh man, there I go again, focusing on the negative and Kristen. No, because that's just going further into that, right? So it's the consistency, it's the repetition. You're going to have to do that at first. Eventually what's going to happen is it's going to start to be more natural, more natural, more natural, more natural. This is actually a reset to your natural state. Okay? It just takes, because of our training and our pre-programming from very early on in our lives, it just takes a little more attention, takes much more of a commitment and more repetition, all of that, because we're just at a different point in our lives. So that's what I want you to focus on. Join me if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling like you procrastinate a lot, if you feel like you this is a big one, if you feel like the things that you want to do, like your things that you're like, yeah, I just really want to move this forward, if you put them on the back burner a lot and sort of get taken off track during the day a lot, and at the end of the day you're like, what happened? Where did the day go? And I didn't do these things, still aren't happening that I want to have happen. Any of that stuff, or if you're doubting yourself a lot, or you've got your brain cycling a lot, join me on that free workshop next week. Like I said, I'm doing it at 2 times on Tuesday. You can join me on one, you can join me on both. And I will be on at the end to answer any questions. So what I'll do, just so you get the idea of the design of it, definitely stick around, because when I say I'll answer questions, I mean anything that you're dealing with. It doesn't have to be about what we talked about during the workshop. Although I will be giving you what I think and what I use as really the cure for overwhelm and limiting beliefs. That doesn't require you to go down a rabbit hole of why do I believe this, and feel worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. That's not it. Everything I do, first of all, I use on myself to make sure it works. I use it for a while to make sure it works, is designed to help you go big one small step at a time, because simple works. So everything I do is designed to be simple and something you can apply immediately. So like I said, I'll be on at the end to answer questions. That can be anything. It can be about something we talked about, the formula I'm going to give you for getting rid of overwhelm and limiting beliefs. It could be about something else you're dealing with and struggling with and need help with. Okay, so definitely go join me there. That link is in the description. I nodded my head up. I have no idea. It's probably below me. GoBigCoach.com/workshop. Join me there. Hang out, get the information. I give you a ton of information. Remember, all you need to do is pick the one thing that really resonates with you and take action on that immediately. You don't need to take action on every single thing. And stick around so you can ask me questions and, have me work with you live and, maybe give you some strategies or tips to help make your life easier, help you get more results. That's what I'm saying. Everything I do is designed to basically help you get incredible results, especially if you haven't been getting them, in ways that you want to have results while actually feeling good in the process. That's the big part, right? And that's all because I hit a point in my life where suddenly I was like, this sort of pushing to get results and feeling bad, it's just not, I don't get it. It's not worth it anymore. I did it for years. The feeling good in the process, life goes quick. And so it's, you want to be enjoying the process. That doesn't mean that there won't be things that are difficult and that you don't enjoy along the way, but predominantly you want to be in that space. So everything I do is designed to help you do that, all through Focus Mastery, because through my life, I firmly believe that focus is the key to everything. And not just focus, that's not what I mean. What you focus on, how you're focusing on it, all of that matters significantly. And we all, for the most part, have our focus operating on autopilot against us. It's not on purpose. It's like trying to do good things for us, but that's backing up on us. It blows up on us. So getting our focus to actively and consciously work for us is really what I'm working on with you guys. All right, so that's it. Join me on that workshop on Tuesday. Have a phenomenal weekend. And let me know what you think. If you feel like someone that that you love, whatever, could use what I'm talking about, please feel free to share this. If you don't mind giving a like or a thumbs up or whatever, that would be awesome. It just lets Facebook know I'm doing good things here and actually delivering what I say I will and all of that. And you guys are fantastic. Let me know anything you need. You can leave a comment. Even if you leave it after the fact, I will come back in. I will answer. You can always DM me here. Just hit to message me, and I will get that. That is me responding. That is my promise to you. And that's it. You guys are awesome. I will talk with you soon. Have a fantastic day and weekend.